The one thing I found about purpose is that the most important thing with purpose is the person that you become in your journey of pursuing purpose, right? I found that with my journey over the past 2 years, right, has been more about the person that I'm becoming. When you have purpose, firstly, you see the picture of where you're going. For me, that's how it was. It was as if God drew a picture of this person that he sees me at. And I'm here. And when I'm looking at that person, like there's no link, right? There's no link. That person is so far-fetched. That is just greatness that I am not right now. And I found that because I've seen that picture, I've become a more resilient person than I was before. When things don't work out, I immediately try and figure out, why didn't they work out? What did I do? Was I not committed enough, or was I not disciplined enough? What do I need to do to move forward, to make sure that when I start again, I actually succeed? I start learning from the situations that I find myself in, right? I never used to be that person who looked at a situation and felt like, what do I have to learn in this? But ever since I started pursuing my purpose, that's the kind of person that I'm becoming, right? Purpose forces you to tap into a certain level of discipline that you never knew existed within you, a level of commitment that you never knew existed within you. And that's what I've found purpose has done for me. I have not achieved any of the things that I believe I've seen in my eyes, right? And I'm not even about to achieve them. But the person that I've become in just over 2 years of pursuing this purpose has shown me that actually, maybe purpose is not necessarily about the destination, but the person that you get to become in your journey of trying to pursue it. So today I want to talk to you about pay attention for peace sake. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. For me, purpose has done that for me. But I just wanted to ask you, have you ever found yourself in a room where you felt like you are insignificant, where you felt like you are so small, you just don't belong? Maybe because you feel the people who are there are just so enlightened, are people who are intelligent, or people who have money that you don't have, or people who are married. All of a sudden, all of your friends are married and you're single, or you find yourself being the only one married and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm trapped in this thing. People are living the life, right? Have you ever found yourself in rooms where you just felt small and you wanted to just go home and crawl under your bed and never be in that space again? I used to feel like that with study groups, for example. I would see people having study groups at tertiary, and I think, oh, I want to join a study group. And I remember the one study group that I joined, the first meeting that we had, I was only struggling with chapter 1, and all of a sudden somebody was referring to something in chapter 7, and I thought, oh my gosh, I quit that study group after the first meeting because I just felt I was not worthy to be in that room. But now I've learned that, with purpose, it stretches me. That situations that I find myself in, I start asking myself, why do I feel so small, right? So I realized that my perspective back then was so wrong. God puts you in positions where you feel insignificant, where you feel small, because he's trying to show you the kind of person that you are on the inside of you. He's trying to show you the version of yourself that you are yet to discover if you allow yourself to be stretched by those rooms. So maybe your perspective has been wrong about the kind of crowd that you have now started, detaching yourself away from. Maybe your perspective was just so wrong. You felt like you were insignificant, but I'm here to remind you that maybe God could have put you in that situation to show you the kind of person that He sees you at, the kind of version of yourself that you are yet to discover if you really work with God, if you really pay attention to what's happening in that room. I started running 5 kilometers. When Austumi came to visit, I had just been running 2.5 kilometers at best, right at the time. 3 kilometers at best. And she came and said, we're running 5 kilometers. And after she left, although I struggled, maybe half of the distance I was walking even. It was so bad. But after she left, I saw that I got stretched, because at first I just didn't believe that I could do a 5 kilometer run, right? But then when she left, I started then practicing. I felt embarrassed to go back to my 2.5 kilometer running, right? So I started pushing myself to do 5 kilometers. And now I'm at a point where I'm really trying to push the whole distance without stopping, without resting. So I saw a version of myself that was greater, that I didn't even know existed on the inside of me. So I just wanted to check with you. Have you separated yourself from a room because you felt unworthy? Could it be that maybe you should go back and start paying attention to the kind of things that those people talk about, to the kind of way they behave, they carry themselves, and maybe take away 1 or 2 things that you can go home and start practicing, because that is how you start growing, by stretching, allowing yourself to be stretched by the things that you see in that particular room that you have been otherwise intimidated by. When you change your perspective about an environment, then you start realizing that you become a version of yourself that you never knew existed. So I just wanted to say, instead of feeling intimidated, start approaching those rooms with an attitude that says, oh my gosh, I wouldn't be in this room if God didn't see me as the person who belongs in this room. So what do I need to do? Who do I need to become in order for me to start feeling worthy in this room? And if you are around people who now love books, love reading, and you've never read a book, then let that be an encouragement for you to buy a book and say, you know what, for the next 6 months, I want to read this book. Even if it takes you 6 months, it would have been one book that you would have otherwise never had read had you not been in a crowd of people who are bookworms, right? So let a space that makes you feel intimidated really be a space where you start paying attention and listening to the things that are being said in that space, looking at how people do what they do, asking questions of how did you become such a person that reads a book in a week? I cannot imagine how you do that. Where do you get the time? Ask questions when you are in rooms like that. Don't be embarrassed. And then when you go home, you will be loaded with tools that you can start practicing in the privacy of your own home, when nobody sees you, right? When you're still fumbling, then all of a sudden, the next time you step into the room, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable. And the next thing you know, the more you start learning, the more you grab from that room and you start practicing at home. Next time, you will feel like you're an equal in that room. So whenever God exposes you to something that you really desire, don't feel like God is mocking you. God is showing you what you can achieve. If it's a great relationship that you're looking for, if it's a qualification that you're looking for, if it's a certain level of career that you are aspiring to have, then learn what those people are doing and try and start practicing it, seeing what you can grab from them so that you can become the person that you've always admired. You are not in that room by mistake. You are there because that is what God sees in you. All you need to ask is, what do I need to do? Who do I need to become in order for me to be, to see myself as being of value enough to be in that space, to see myself as an equal when I step into that room next time. And that is how we stretch and grow. Our purpose and everything that is happening in our lives is basically trying to stretch us to become the things that we see in other people that we admire. It means when you admire it, it is somewhere inside of you. You just need to grow into it. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach.